Unmute. We are streaming. Oh, I know. I put this up higher because I need to remember to change it when I walk away because everybody's taller than me. Welcome to our Holy Cross neighborhood member meeting. It's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to get it started. Actually, it's like 7:02. So, hold on. Hold on. It's got, there we go. I had a YouTube tab open, trying to make sure everything was working. Okay. As always, thank you to the Ball State University Cap Indy Center. That is where we are meeting. Apologize, their air conditioning is a little on the fritz right now. So we have the fans. If you see the fans starting to point toward the ceiling, feel free to push them back down. So hopefully we'll get through this and nobody will melt. My name is Jen Higginbotham. If you have not seen me before, I am the president for the Holy Cross Neighborhood Association. So I'm going to lead the meeting tonight, but we have other people that are going to be talking as well. I want to start with a reminder. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware that we, really value these meetings. We want people to come out. We want you to meet your neighbors. It's not really a place for everybody to sort of bring their complaints. We do have an association board. So if you do have things that you have comments on in the neighborhood or you want to work on in the neighborhood, strongly encourage you to join the association board. That would be a much better place for sort of like complaints that you've seen in the neighborhood to have those conversations. So tonight we're going to share some news. We're going to let you know what's going on. We're going to make sure to try to keep it lively and keep some information here. So here's our agenda. We have some guest speakers. We have some neighborhood reports. I'm going to jump right into it. So first up is going to be Jacob Barnes. He's our neighborhood advocate. So he's going to come on up here and I'm going to raise his piece a lot taller than me.
Thanks, Jen. And thank you. Hello, Holy Cross. Like Jen said, I'm Jacob Barnes, your mayor's neighborhood advocate for the Near East Side, West Side. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but I also am a resident of Holy Cross. So it's good to be with you all. To get right off into it, there is a lot of construction in the neighborhood. However, for much of it, not for much longer. The East New York, East Michigan Street conversions are to be completed by the end of this year. Those will remain a one-way until they are completed. So right now they're working on the one side of the street. They will do that side of the street with expanded sidewalks, added bicycle infrastructure all the way to Emerson on one way. And then they're going, once that is completed, they'll open that side up, close the other side and complete that other side. That is to be completed by the end of this year. Also on Market Street here, I'm going to leave what's happening over here for 1820. Yep. But this whole project on Market Street is to be completed by the end of this year as well. So we can just hold on a little bit longer. That will be, I think, very much enjoyed once we come to Q4 of this year. The Davidson Street is a part of the NDOT project. They have, they're storing a lot of equipment right there while they're working on the East Washington little section right there with that project. But that is also, they are expecting that to be done by the end of this year. Few other things. The city has recently just broken ground on the new animal shelter, which I think will help a lot of folks in this area. The Near East Side has lots of animal issues, so we think that that's going to definitely aid in the integrity and the justice of animals that we're currently facing right now. Did I hit all of those updates in regard? Does anyone have any infrastructure questions? Michigan is in that same project as East New York. So that will also be finished by the end of this year as well. Those two projects are going on simultaneously. Oaks Run also yep, it will be completed by the end of this year. It's not open yet. You can still utilize it. So definitely urge everyone to go check out that new trail. The South Brookside Parkway right now, if you take that at all, that is seeing a lot of work as well. That's a drainage project with some new sidewalk infrastructure for those folks. Any other questions in regards to infrastructure? So how the city looked at that, they looked at a lot of data from MAC cases, both in regards to alleys, potholes, but then also in regards to illegal dumping. So I know that those alleys have been chosen yet, and they have not been made public. I've not been notified yet, but I do know that there were 25 alleys or 21 alleys, and of those, we received 8 in the Near East Side. So that's just phase 1. We will have this moving forward in the years to come, and deeming on the success, perhaps continuing to make that a priority. Other infrastructure. A reminder, if you see something in the neighborhood suspicious or questionable, call 911. You can use the non-emergency, but if you are feeling like this is bad, to call it in, right? If IMPD doesn't know, then nobody knows. We are the eyes of the city. So, on that same vein, please continue to use the Mayor's Action Center. I urge, if you can call between the hours of 8 and 5, call them in regards to potholes, anything like that for the city. We do really rely on you folks to kind of call that in so we know what's going on. I have my office hours every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30 at Rabble Coffee. But I am also open to meeting outside of those hours. My email is jacob.barnes@indy.gov. And the last thing, Councilor Brown and I have held a listening session this past Tuesday at Spades Park, and we have one more next Thursday at 6 p.m. at John Bonner Neighborhood Center. This is just going to be a time for us to hear the concerns of the neighborhood, to kind of have both of us in the room, kind of us take notes, and to kind of game plan in regards to, city council and mayor's office, kind of putting our heads together. What can we do to move forward on some of these issues? So if you can't make that, you can email me or Jesse, and we will definitely notate that in the reports that we make there. Anything else? Any questions? None in regards to anything city? Okay. Well, keep up the good work, your thoughts. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thanks, Jacob. Okay, so I reached out to Jesse to see if he wanted to attend. He said he couldn't make it tonight, but he did send me a bunch of updates. So I'm actually just going to read these because I tried summarizing them, but I can't really answer any questions. I did put, this is kind of a summary slide of what I'm going to go through. And so his email address is on there. And then also what Jacob just mentioned about the listening session, that's on there if you want to note that. So here are the updates I got from Jesse, our counselor. I have not heard any new information about the soccer stadium. With this month's city council votes, the new professional sports development area map has been approved by the council. Next, it will need to be approved again by the Metropolitan Development Commission and then sent to the state for approval by Mayor Hogsett and his team. Upon approval from the state, the council could consider any taxpayer-supported financing to assist with the construction beyond the additional state tax dollars authorized by the professional sports district map. I'd certainly vote no on any taxpayer backing for the developer group as of today, but would love constituent feedback on that stance. So if you have any thoughts on what's going on, if you're not aware, city's been talking about putting a soccer stadium where the heliport was. They had to approve a special taxing district for that. They've approved it, but a lot of counselors begrudgingly. And so they're trying to figure out what is going to happen next and whether it's actually going to move forward and whatnot. So that was Jesse's comment there. Next was about unsheltered homelessness. So he said this continues to be a problem throughout the district. This includes people sleeping under bridges on Market Street, people sleeping under near railroad bridges nearby, and people in tents all up and down Pogues Run throughout the district. The city is working to provide resources to these people and help them find more suitable places to stay and resources they need to help get their lives into a more stable place. Today, those resources often do not exist. I continue to push with neighbors and homelessness service provision agencies to retool our homelessness policies, and fully believe that Indianapolis could put an end to chronic homelessness within the city without any new revenue. The problem comes in developing the political will to soberly assess what is working and what isn't, and to move resources to where they are best utilized. So we had a meeting that I was invited to a couple of weeks ago. There's been some people that are kind of camping perpetually underneath the interstate and the railroad bridge on Market Street, and it's sort of interrupting some of the construction activities there. I think once those things open and there's more people activity, it's going to kind of solve itself. But in the meantime, they're kind of trying to figure out a way to keep the area clean and clear, especially for people who now live in the Gather apartments and are trying to walk downtown, wheelchair access, et cetera, in those areas. So there's just some conversations going on right now with the city's homelessness agency, which I'm not sure the exact name of it, but the what? OPHS. Office of Public Health and Safety. Let's see. I also asked him about, he said the council is considering a new economic enhancement district that would extend further northeast as compared to the original Mile Square proposal. If anybody's aware, they were trying to create a district downtown that would pay for like helping to clean up efforts and things like that. He says this map would only automatically tax commercial and industrial sites, not residential ones. However, residents would be able to opt into paying the tax at $250 a year if they choose. The tax dollars go to support both homelessness outreach teams, enhanced maintenance and cleaning teams, and the funding of the construction of the housing hub, aka the low barrier shelter. The map is still not finalized, but as of right now is not planned to extend west of I-65. I think he meant east of I-65. So this would likely not impact Holy Cross, but I still thought that the info is relevant to you to know as it may impact near neighbors. Finally, a reminder that Jacob and I are setting up listening sessions across the district. And so he mentioned, like I said, the one that's up on the screen, the upcoming listening session at Bonner Center, June 27th at 6 p.m. And so he's very excited about that. Again, if you have any questions about any of those items or anything else that you want to talk to our counselor about, there is his email address. You are welcome to reach out to him. He's always said he's very happy to receive that information. Next, also, Stacy from IMPD, who has attended in the past, could not be here tonight, but she sent me a couple of things. She mentioned that the Kia and Hyundai thefts are still occurring, so they're keeping an eye out on that situation. There have also been some reports of shots fired in the area, and so she wanted to strongly encourage everyone to call 911 when they hear shots fired and to provide as much information as possible to the dispatch. So echoing what Jacob just said about go ahead and use that 911 when you feel like there's something going on that needs to be recorded. The East District Community Day is July 10th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Brookside Park. So note that on your calendars if you're interested in attending that. And then that homicide that happened, I asked if there were any updates there, and she said no updates on that right now. So unfortunately, I don't have any information to share on that. It sounds like it's still an ongoing investigation. So those are my IMPD updates. I don't know where it was on Oriental in New York. At our last meeting, some people were asking for updates on it, and she said it was an ongoing investigation and they didn't have any information to share. And it sounds like they still don't have anything to share just yet. So moving on, I'm gonna ask Michael Taft to come up. He's with 1820 Ventures. He's got some information on what we were calling Jail 2 update. We're now calling the Cool Motor.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. I think first I'll hit some kind of brass tacks neighborhood updates from our end of the neighborhood. In terms of Market Street construction, we feel it as much as you guys. So as a quick recap, that construction was intended to be simultaneous to our apartment building just here. So that was, I think, it met for 2022 because of primarily COVID supply delays and some other city stuff. It turned into a 2024 project. So just as we're trying to fill the building with folks, but that is, I believe they're supposed to be done with concrete work next month and asphalt work. So theoretically, the street should be mostly open out by August at least. I don't know, overpromise. And then I think that the continual work will be more like landscaping beds. There's 2 new bike share stations that will be going into Market Street. One right in front of Gather, I think one closer to this building. So those are fully funded and set to go in the fall. So that's exciting. And then I did want to share also, we do have a signed lease with a breakfast and lunch place that's the Three Dolls, which has had a food truck out here on Washington Street. We've been working with them to figure out what makes sense for them. And last time I checked, I'd have to double check, but I believe that the commercial space they ended up in, or that they're planning to move into, their grandfather used to have a pastry shop there. So it's a fun, like, little full circle thing. So we're really excited about having that. That will be on Washington Street. Yeah, on one of those kind of storefront systems on Washington Street. So yeah, that'll be really exciting. I think a long range goal for us is to get more retail onto campus. But that's an iterative process. You can see we're still tinkering with the diner and figuring out what makes sense. There's a lot of commercial code things that we have to do that as an Angie's List diner, they didn't have to meet for their employees. But if we open it to the public, there's all kinds of very intricate things in a 400 square foot box we have to get done. So we're working on how to figure out the perfect tenant to make that happen. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that is, so technically speaking, so the city is, and this is getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but yeah. I'll get to that. I think that's, and then Gather, just as a FYI, is about 70% full. And so that's good progress, and that should be full of residents here at the end of summer. And so we really enjoy seeing like people walking around even with the construction. And we are really excited for the energy that brings to the block and how that can help us even promote more retail and more things for you guys to walk to as we have more residents in the neighborhood. So then the other big project that we have going on, so we just finish up these apartments, and then the jail is the other thing, Jail 2, which was formerly the Cool Motor Car Factory. If you're not familiar, it was built about 100 years ago. It was just various local factory uses for basically the first 100 years. And then in the late 90s, the city needed more room for their jail system and bought that building to make it an annex of the jail. When they built the Twin Air site, the new Justice Center, they no longer needed those jail properties. So Jail 1, I think they're still determining what might happen there. I think it's adjacent to the proposed MLS stadium that you know as much about as I do. And so that, I'm not sure about that. And then Jail 2 was awarded through an RFP process to 1820 Ventures, which is the development firm that I work for. I probably should have led with that. And so we have been working on retooling that building, which consists of de-jailing it first, and then really imagining what it could be for the neighborhood and the city in the future. So step 1 of that is through negotiations with the city on what made sense for that property. They agreed to do most of the heavy lifting on de-jailing. So they are removing a wing of the building that we determined was, a structural engineer determined it was completely structurally unsound. and I think I talked in maybe November about how we did a professional study of that, and it was a shop building. These are a couple photos of the old factory about 100 years ago, and it today, or it maybe a couple months ago. If you haven't been by, the East Wing now is pretty much entirely down. So that was the closure in Market Street. That was a city contractor that we were encouraging to keep us in the loop on traffic closures. Market Street is now closed. We had wished that we could give more heads up, but and I think it was supposed to be open today, reopened today. I just drove by and that has not happened yet. So hopefully tomorrow, but not long term, thankfully. So I apologize for we should have been on that better. We should have been pushing them to give more heads up. We know with Market Street it's already difficult. So in the future we have a big goal of making sure that's well communicated. Moving on, we are not just tearing down a wing of the building. We are also redeveloping the entire property. So what I'm here tonight to talk about, in the past, we've gone through kind of the economic incentive process with the city and gotten that all approved. In last fall, end of the year, we got this demolition component approved. So now we're coming with basically the plans for the total exterior redo of the building. So that's through the regional center process, which is basically for the inside the loop kind of approvals for design. So it's kind of a heightened standard of design quality for downtown. So I'll just jump right in. We've shown renderings along these lines, but the general plan is to take it back to how it looked in its original factory condition. We're actually using federal historic tax credits, which go through a rigorous process of review to make sure that everything we do is historically considerate and appropriate. And they're very particular about that. It's about a 6-month approval process. Once you have completely finished designs, it just takes 6 months to fully approve the historic side. So our goal is to essentially get this approved by the city. Once we have that assurance that it's approved on a local level, we can immediately submit it to the federal level. That hopefully takes 3 months, may take as long as 6 months to get that reviewed. And so this is all kind of big factory windows. If you actually look on the existing building, where it's green is basically where it will turn into a window, and where it's orange or beige, that's the original. We'll remove the stucco and it'll be original concrete. That will get basically carve away all the stuff that has rotted, patch that back, and paint that back to how it originally would have looked. There's also some painted brick on this north building that's white, and then some glazed brick on the south facade of the south building. So I'll show some renderings here, but a lot I could talk about. What you guys care about probably most as neighbors is kind of the Market Street treatment. We're generally adding trees. We're making sure there's good pedestrian paths on both sides of the street. Pretty much everywhere that you come in contact with will have commercial space. So really the goal, I think here for this north building is we're adding on kind of a raised porch that gives an opportunity for more outdoor dining space. So we're really hoping to have sort of like 2-3 like great restaurant users that you guys can walk to. And then in the south building, there'll be a little more soft goods retail, a little bit less food focused. And the fun thing that I love about this development is another thing that was a city priority and a priority for us was childcare. So we identified that as, especially with the pandemic, really a need for more childcare solutions. So we've committed with the city to providing a large 10,000 square foot childcare operator in this building with subsidized rent. So we're still finalizing exactly how it's going to be operated, but that is there on the right side of the photo. Go back to the mic. But this will be kind of their frontage back here is like, as you look north along that kind of what used to be Davidson, but's been vacated, that will be sort of their private area of the parking lot. And on the site plan, you can kind of see the playground up there in the north corner. So we're really excited about the use and its complement to a lot of different things happening in the neighborhood. South building will be, so I guess in terms of program of the building, that will be primarily residential in the upper floors. There's a handful of residential units at the first floor, kind of off the streets. And then the first floor of both buildings along the public streets is commercial. All rentals, yes. If you want to talk to me about why condos don't work in Indiana, happy to talk about it after. But we're really excited. These are going to be really great units with huge windows and tons of space. We are keeping the pedestrian connector. It's really unique that you have legal rights to cross the street above. And it's already this like really hefty steel structure actually underneath that's semi-historic. So we're going to reclad it, make it look a lot nicer, but have that as a connector because most of our parking will be on the south side and then really need that way to get people to the north side. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. This is facing, this is the brick, the dark brick you see there faces north and the white brick faces south. So that on your right is that's the north building on the north side of Market. And then a lot of this is, frankly, it's the good and bad thing is this is totally controlled by the historic approval process. So this is what it originally looked like. And then that building on the left is on the south side of Market. And truthfully, we have a good hunch that there is brick underneath the stucco there. But you can see, even if you drive by, we've cut a couple strips out of the stucco to like start digging in there. And it's really hard to tell the condition of the historic brick. So we're either going to try our best to restore that historic brick, or it may be coming apart in so many pieces that we'll have to go back with a replica brick. But yeah. Oh, sorry. That is against the railroad tracks. Yeah. Yeah. So a fun thing that's not really, because it's internal to the building, it's not really covered here, but we're creating a new courtyard in the middle of the north building. And for there's a lot of issues being like 15 feet from a railroad track and trying to do extensive historic restoration. Among them construction issues, but then also just sound mitigation and wanting to live there. And so our solution to that is turning those units essentially to face into an interior courtyard and have more mitigation against that. And this is primarily that frontage you really don't see. It's really like the Sun King back parking lot that has any kind of view of that wall. Yeah. Yeah, no, good question. Should have covered that. Yeah, and then in terms of schedule, so we have submitted these drawings to the city's regional center. So here in a couple of weeks, you can, it's a public record and everything. And then we'll have a hearing on July 25th for these drawings. And we're technically, this is in the Cole Noble neighborhood. So we'll likely have kind of a more of a formal approval process for the elevations and everything with them. But we felt like this was largely consistent with what we've talked about in numerous neighborhood meetings. And I'm really excited to just share an update with you guys. As we move forward, we think that we have everything kind of set up, both financing and architecture wise, for a basically end of the year start to construction. And then that's effectively a 16 to 24 month process, depending on which part of the building is you're referring to. Any questions that I can answer? Yeah. Yeah, on Washington Street, generally no. Market Street is so narrow; it's about, I believe, 60 feet from the face of the one face of the building to the other. And because we're really significantly redoing that stretch of the street, we're basically taking this. I don't know if I can zoom in. we're taking that street down to the studs. So that's one of my personal goals, is like maintaining as much open street as possible. Because we know it's an important neighborhood connector, but there's also just the construction reality of totally rebuilding both facades and redoing the entire street that will have some closures. Any other questions? Great. Thank you so much for letting me share. And yeah, please, happy to get coffee, talk about how and why we do what we do, and be more involved in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, we're gonna get into our neighborhood reports now. I'm gonna start off, and honestly, if there's not much of a report, it's basically just a reminder that we do have annual dues, $20 per household per year. They are voluntary, but we love it when we have some money in our bank account. It allows us to pay for like our Zoom subscription, which we're using right now to make sure neighbors who can't attend can watch the meeting, and then cleanup supplies for cleanup days, whatnot. This QR code will come up again at the end of the meeting. So if you miss it or you've paid for the year, that's great. We don't expect you to pay at every meeting. And then now for the foundation report from Renee.
My name is Renee O'Sullivan. I'm currently the president of the Holy Cross Neighborhood Foundation. Got some facts and figures for you guys. Our current balance is a little over $31,000. About 17,000 of that is from last year's wine and cheese that was brought over from the association bank account to the foundation bank account. We're running it through the foundation this year. And we're working on using those funds for the Wine and Cheese Festival. A little over 8,000 is restricted funds for some of the projects. We have signal boxes, gateway signs, a couple other things. We also have some restricted for the park sculpture maintenance. We still are working with parks and what that'll be. It could be up to $5,000. So we've got some money set aside for that. And then our fundraising initiatives, Kroger Community Awards. If you shop at Kroger and you don't mind attaching your Kroger card to us so we can get a little bit of money, there's a QR code over here on the table. Snap it. And if you don't mind, we get, I don't remember what, Megan, remember 1%? 2, whatever it is, we get, we make about $7 a quarter right now, but if you guys all sign up, maybe we'll get to like 10 or 12. Information on the wine and cheese silent auction will be coming up soon too. That'll be something that goes to the foundation to help with different neighborhood initiatives. Neighborhood house signs. If anyone doesn't have a house sign yet and they want one, I've got some here and there's a QR code. You can pay with your credit card. If you want to write a check, you can. Cash. They're $40. If you have other ideas for how we can fundraise, please let us know. We're all about ideas. Community initiatives. What are we spending our money on? We have a sign vendor we talked to, and he had recommendations on changing the materials of the signs and the brackets. So that's our next major project we're going to use our funds for, is reworking those signs so they've got a little more longevity. The ones we had just didn't last as long as we thought they would, and we feel like we don't want to waste anyone's money if they're donating towards those signs. So that's going to be one of our initiatives. And then the final repairs on the gazebo. If you've been over that way, you know some of the rails have been replaced. We've got some painting to do, but that's what some of our funds have gone to. Do you have a project you want to get some funds for? We have a request form on the website now. On the website, if you go to the foundation area, there's a form you can fill out and send in. We will probably have follow-up questions for you, likely, and then we will vote on all of those at our next regular meeting. We meet the 4th Wednesday of the odd month, so January, March, etc. So if you have something you want to do at a certain time, just make sure you get it in before that meeting so you have time to review it and then vote on it at our next meeting. That's it for my slides, right? Any questions? All right, thank you. Yeah.
Remind people what the pole sign.
You know the signs hanging from the telephone poles? They look a little beat up if they're still there. Have the neighborhood, they look like those, but they're round. That's the pole signs. Thank you.
Hey, Renee. Now we have Megan to talk about the wine and cheese.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan. I live over on Vermont. And I'm chairing Wine and Cheese Committee this year. How many people know what Wine and Cheese is, the festival? Okay, most people, which is good, but not all of you. So there'll be some new information. So we started doing a Wine and Cheese Festival last year. So this is our second year. It's going to be July 20th from 4 to 9 p.m. It's a little earlier than last year, so that's new. We're going to have 2 bands and a DJ. The DJ comes from our neighborhood too. We'll have more food trucks. We're moving to a ticket model. So we're selling ticket packs that you should look into before the price increases. And then we have some elevated experiences that are geared towards adults. We had a lot of stuff for kids to do last year. This year we wanted things for adults to do. So there's a grilled cheese throwdown. So there'll be different grilled cheeses that people can sample and then vote on who the winner is. And then the chef that is the winner goes to World Championships, which is in Indy. So if you think it's really cool, there'll be more of that stuff like later in the year. And then we'll have a somm-led experience. Jan from Bluebeard will be leading people through tasting wines along with pairings. So you can kind of see like what goes well with the wine. So really cool opportunities. So how can you offer support? First of all, go to the festival. It's going to be fun. It was so much fun last year. So buy your passes ahead of time. We'll say the somm-led experience only has a certain number of seats. It's pretty limited, so you want to get yours now. We have our 10-pack at the brilliant sale price. We have a lot of puns if you look at the website. It's $25. It'll go up to $30 at the end of the month, so try and get in before prices go up. And then up here, there are what the tickets kind of equate to. So like 2 tickets would be a beer or wine. We're looking at cocktails. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year, but we will have things other than wine. There'll be cheese trays for purchase, which will actually be 5 tickets, not 4. So just that's going on. And then like, let's say you can't go. You could sponsor. We have a couple sponsors in here today. I think I saw Pat come in for redev. And then I heard today that 1820 was also going to sponsor. So thank you both. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna list off the companies because there's lots of people. Lots of individuals. And so the 2 sponsorships that you guys as residents of Holy Cross should be aware of is our vineyard sponsor at $250, which gives you a bottle of wine, group thank you, a Holy Cross t-shirt, very coveted, or a Moscato sponsor, which is $100. And then you also get a t-shirt as well as social media recognition. And then if you have businesses, we have much higher level sponsorships too, if you'd like to look into those. Renee mentioned the wine and cheese silent auction. Last year we had lots of really cool things. I think there are Colts tickets in there. Art, liquor, and wine. So we are looking for donations, from businesses or from residents. And you might think, oh, I've got like this $50 gift card I don't want to use. We'll take it and we'll pair it with something else and make a nice basket that we'll have for the silent auction. So that's a way that you can contribute as well. And then also, I just need to say, we are all volunteers that are putting this on, and we need help from you guys to put the event on. So we have 2-hour shifts that we've outlined. I went through the list and picked out the ones that we think are like the most critical. So we need a couple people from 3:30 to 5:30. All the shifts are 2 hours long. Then from 5:30 to 7:30, we have a lot of needs for people to do sales, check IDs, sell trays of cheese. Please, 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 if you're going to go 2 hours, we'll go like that real quick. We really, really, really need people to help us put on this great event for the neighborhood. And if you click or scan that QR code, we're very big on our QR codes in this neighborhood. It'll take you to Sign Up Genius, and you can sign up to volunteer. You'll get a free drink. You'll get a t-shirt. You'll get to mingle with your neighbors and get to know people a little bit better. So please consider helping us out. And with that, back to Jen.
Okay, let me check the time. We got plenty. So I'm gonna go through some things that are coming up. Number 1, it's this weekend, Saturday. The Indy Rotary Club, they had asked if they could come and spruce up Highland Park. So they're gonna be in the park from 9 a.m. to noon. We're not asking for anybody to help. They actually really want to do it themselves, but we are asking people to just sort of like steer clear of them. So if you want to walk your dog through the park, you can probably do that, but just kind of like let them do their thing. They're going to be repairing some picnic shelter tables. They're going to be mulching the playground. They're going to be removing some invasive plants from around the perimeter of the park, cleaning up the sign area. So they're going to be out there all morning. making our park look beautiful. So just, you know, if you do happen to be passing by, shout a thank you, whatever. But this is just your heads up that there will be some activity in the park on Saturday. Dedication of our new sculpture in Highland Park. It's called Steel. It's in memory of Kelly Winsing, and we are dedicating it this Wednesday, June 26th. So that will start at 6 p.m. Everybody meet at the sculpture. We'll have some people there who were close to Kelly who want to talk about it. We'll have the artists there to talk about it. We'll have any parks there to talk about it. So we'll have a few speakers just to sort of acknowledge what an amazing thing this was for us to add. You know, it's beautiful. It's got a great message. It honors a really wonderful person. So we want to make sure we do a dedication, and we want to have as many people show up as possible. So if you have that evening free, please come out and join us just to celebrate. National Night Out. This is going to be on Tuesday, August 6th. It's the same. It's always on a Tuesday night every year. It's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. I asked Cliff ahead of time. So yes, so Cliff is going to be organizing that for us. It's a day where you can come out and you can meet your IMPD officers. You can hang out a little bit. It is going to be on the Esplanade where we have the grill set up and where we have all of the mows. So if you want to come out and you want to use the grill, if you want to bring some blankets and chairs, it's just kind of a nice opportunity to come out and kind of like hang out and meet your IMPD officers and just kind of get familiar, because it's always nice to kind of be able to recognize them. Fall cleanup. This is going to be on Saturday, October 19th, meeting at Redev office at 9 a.m. There will be some coffee and donuts, and then people get their location assignments. So this year, KIB is going to be providing a dumpster for us to use. Where's that going to be located?
So in the fall, we have
Yeah, come up here and talk.
In the fall, we have the dumpster from KIB. And in the spring, we have the picker trucks from Marion County Health. So as far as I know right now, we will have the dumpster in the kind of the middle of the Sturm Esplanade, but you know, just east of Arsenal. And the date is not completely set in stone yet, but that's what we requested, and I've never not gotten what we requested. So the dumpster will be there. Please don't just dump stuff in there. We get a lot of people that want to come out and put their construction trash in it. That's not what it's for. Or people who want to put clear brush and put it in there. That's not what it's for. It's really for neighborhood trash, not personal trash. So just keep that in mind and stay tuned, because we'll have lots more information coming up.
Thank you, Amanda, for organizing that for us. Yeah, so that'll be like curb cleaning and maybe some storm gutters, stuff like that, the usual, that kind of debris. Mingle on the Esplanade. We've had a couple of these this year. They've actually been pretty well attended. They've been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of people come out. We've had some people, you know, share some food. The next one is going to be on Wednesday, July 24th. That is actually the week after the Wine and Cheese Festival. So like once you're done helping us, like volunteering and helping make that an amazing success, come out that following Monday and just like kind of chill, because that's going to be very low key. So there will be another one on August 20th, and then the final one will be on September 23rd. I know Kylie might be busy that day. She's kind of organizing these for us and kind of heading up, you know, bringing out some tables, bringing some hot dogs for people. So I'll probably be pitching in to make sure, you know, to bring some hot dogs and things like that. But if anybody else wants to pitch in, let me know. So we have 3 of those left. Please put them on your calendar. They're a nice way to just kind of casually hang out with your neighbors for a while. Other events. So we have the Girls' Night Out that continues on. The next one is 25th, a week from yesterday. So next Wednesday. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to Gwen O'Connor. She is kind of the manager of the master list that kind of goes out to the people on the Girls' Night Out. We don't like to sort of advertise the address and stuff because we do just meet in people's houses. Yes, 25th. And then those will continue on. They happen about monthly. And then I just wanted to throw a bunch of ideas up here, because if anybody else wants to pitch in and sort of like take ownership of something and kind of lead, you know, something in the neighborhood, In the past, we've done chili cook-offs. I haven't heard from anybody who really wants to like lead that kind of a thing this year. Holiday party happens every year. We do have like a good group of kind of core people that kind of help us put that on every year, but they're always willing to have more volunteers. Movies in the park, just having an organized walk around the neighborhood or bike rides, or we have a historic neighborhood tour we put together for Indiana Landmarks a few years back. So that's already packaged, but if somebody wants to just try to like take hold of that and plan it out. So anyway, there's a lot of things that, you know, if anybody really feels a strong pull to like lead something, please let us know. There's plenty of things we could be doing. And sort of to that effect, ways to stay connected. I've put a new calendar on our website. So we did have events on the website before. They were a little hard to update. So this is not nearly as pretty as what was on the website before, but it is kind of compact and it kind of puts everything out there. So I took this screenshot earlier today. These are a few things that are coming up, but the important thing to note here is if you're wondering if something's coming up, you can just go to indyholycross.org/calendar and you can see what's on the calendar. And if you do want to lead like a neighborhood walk or something like that, just send an email to info@indyholycross.org and it's super easy to put it up on this calendar. Send me the details and we can like put that out there so people know where to meet and what to do, or if it's an event where people need to bring something, we can organize that. This can also kind of get the ball rolling. So we put it on social media or wherever else we want to share information. So please, you know, check that once in a while and keep up to date on things that are coming up. As I usually mention, we have the Urban Times. If you have any ideas for articles for the Urban Times, please share those. You can send those to info@indyholycross.org and I'll make sure those get to the right place. We have all the social medias. We have Nextdoor, we have our website, and we have our email newsletter. I know we've had some trouble with the newsletter. I do apologize. We really cannot figure out why some people are not receiving it. So we're trying to put that information on the website for anybody that's struggling so that you can at least kind of like check that once in a while and maybe see what's been going out. So I do apologize for that, but it does exist if you want to try to sign up or sign up with a different email address or something. Again, volunteer. We've got a neighborhood association board. We have a neighborhood foundation. We have project teams for different things and like events like the festival and the holiday party. So if you want to get involved, please get involved. We're happy to have more help. And the association board meetings, second Tuesdays of the odd months, January through November. The next one is on July 9th. That's via Zoom. Anyone is welcome to join the association board. This is kind of like more of a nitty-gritty meeting where we're kind of talking about if there's anything we need to work on, figuring out what we want to put on the next agenda so we can reach out to speakers in advance. Association member meetings, that's where we are tonight. The next one is on August 15th here again. So please plan to come back and meet us again in August. And then the foundation meetings, as Renee said, are fourth Wednesdays in the odd months. The next one is on July 24th. They do have those at somebody's home, so you can reach out to Renee if you're interested in what's going on with the foundation. This is pretty much it for the meeting. We're actually wrapping up a little early, which is not very common for us, but this is again that same QR code for you know, dues if you want to pay them if you didn't catch it earlier. But that's kind of where we're at. So does anybody have any questions about anything that's happening or coming up? All right, well, thank you all for coming out. It's really nice to like see people in the room and get to have conversations and stuff. So that's really great. So yeah, we'll be here for the next, you know, 10, 15 minutes. We don't want to stay too late because Nina has to go home, but, but we'll stay here for another 10 or 15 minutes. So let us know if you have any questions or anything after we kind of sign off. So again, thank you very much.